Well, good morning from the garden. I wanted to just take a chance and go through and take a few videos and do a little bit of a garden update, show the progress that we've made on some of our projects and some of the beautiful things that are blooming right now, and the growth that we've gotten. So yeah, let's get into it. All right, well, I came over here. Most of the garden is still very much protected by the hardware cloth. I do have a few trays over there that we can talk about that I'm leaving out to see what happens, see if the animal pressure is maybe a little bit lower. You can see, like, in here everything is really starting to explode with growth and get really nice. Looks like the beans are starting to slowly go up the trellis a little bit. I had to train them yesterday to of course, they always want to grow the opposite direction. These are some cauliflowers that I think I am just going to leave them in these pots and keep feeding them heavily. You can even see that there's like a little cauliflower growing right there. So that's really, really great to see. The cucumbers are doing well. Once they get above this weird little trellis thing, I'll just let them trail over to either trellis on either side. They can grow up with the beans or the stuff on the other side there. Over here we've got some of the peppers. Like, this is really great to see all of these pepper plants. This one was chewed to a stick from the bunnies, so it's great to see that some of it is coming back. I don't know how much fruit I'll get off of it, but nonetheless, sorry for the shaking camera. I had to kill a mosquito. And then over here, this, I wish we had smell-o-vision for this, because I think it smells like candy necklaces. So this is the swamp milkweed that I grow. It's all over my garden. I haven't seen a lot of monarchs yet, but it should be getting there any minute. Obviously, as the milkweed starts to bloom, then the monarchs will start coming in. Some of this stuff is starting to grow a little bit. I have been heavily fertilizing, and I still haven't gotten my soil test back from the U of M that I sent in 2 weeks ago. So hopefully that'll come back soon so that I'll be able to know what is going on over here. There's some different swamp milkweed. That one's got white flowers on it versus the pink and white flowers that this one has. So I think it's the same thing, just different colors. You can see I have a few ripe tomatoes down here. These are just the micro tomatoes that I grew. Most of them don't look very healthy. I started them way too early. Obviously, they don't need to be started as soon as the other tomato plants, so I learned that this year. And then you can see, this is really exciting for me. It is July 1st, and the Berries Crazy Cherries is over the fence. So this one is really, really healthy. You can see that the other tomato wall here is really starting to grow. And that's great to see, that it looks like the fertilizer that I'm giving it is really starting to boost it. I don't think they ever got much taller than this last year, so hopefully we've solved some of the problems with them. We are getting some like blight and stuff from the bottoms of them just because of all the rain that we're getting. So these are the brassicas that I'm kind of testing with right now. They were inside of this hardware cloth little room that I have, but I needed to pull them out so that I could plant in there, and just, I mean, it's time. They're getting giant. Looks like I must have bought, you know, you lose your mind and you don't realize it. This is a bunch of purple cauliflower, which I have a couple of them planted in the ground too, and then some extra broccolis in this one. And then over here in the cow pots, I have a whole bunch of kohlrabi, but I mean, look at how healthy and happy that is. There's no reason to worry about it. I did leave these two trays sitting outside of the hardware cloth, half expecting them to be mowed down in the morning, but grateful that they are not. This is just some of the other stuff that I have growing over here. This is our, you know, we always have this sunflower in the middle of the vegetable garden that I grow. It happened by accident one year. The second year this garden was here, it must have overseeded, and now every year I try to plant a giant sunflower here, so we'll see how big it gets. And then I threw these in the ground. The 4 on this side are broccoli, the 4 on that side are cauliflower. There's white cauliflower in the front and purple cauliflower in the back. So I just put those in the ground yesterday, and we'll see how they do being transplanted at such a, you know, when they're so old. All of this is just starting to look really beautiful. This was a transplanted sunflower, which I never expected to grow. And then that one is another one of the big sunflowers that I've started to plant on this side over here because I can't really reach that spot. So it's perfect to have a sunflower in there. All the peppers are really starting to take off. You can see in here that there's some little jalapenos starting to form on all of these plants. The zucchini, same thing. We've got a few, well, a ton of flowers, and then a few zucchinis that are starting to come in. So I should be getting a few. And then over there is some poblano peppers that are starting to come in. Over here is the ají dulce. So I think last time I kind of showed that it was starting to bloom. It's really blooming, and it's, I hope it's in focus. So just kind of showing the blooms of the ají dulce. It does have blooms all over on it. So hopefully it can support that much fruit. I have been seeing a lot of blossom drop. So I fed it really well, and hopefully that will help it to do a little bit better. I'd like to replace this with a square one that's just a little bit, gives it a little bit more room to grow, because there is a giant pepper plant inside of there also that's coming up. But we'll see. We'll see if I get around to it. So same with these peppers. It's really great to see. That one was a stick last week. It was gone. I didn't think it was coming back. So that one's finally starting to come back. And this one was also a stick, but it recovered a little quicker than the other one did. So both of those, it's interesting to see how much abuse they can take. This is just so beautiful. The Walter's Fancy. This one is a determinate tomato, so it'll get like 3 to 5 feet tall, and it's got yellow fruit on it, but the variegation is the part that I grow it for because it's just so beautiful. There are also some, oh my gosh, did something dig it up? Oh, gardening in real time. I had some sunflowers growing back there, but it looks like something dug it up right there. Oh my. Anyways, and then there's the cucumbers that are in these pots over here. I don't know why I decided to grow them in pots, but I decided to try it, and it seems to be working. This has been an exciting thing that's happening just yesterday and today, is the blueberries are starting to ripen. So you can just see how gorgeous they are. I always find it really interesting to see how small the little blueberries are, and then you can tell that they're going to start to ripen when they get really big. So they, the berries really explode the last few days before they start to blush. So here's some pink ones that are really starting to blush, but I'm not sure how much the video is going to show the thousands and thousands of berries that are on here. Again, I'm sure I said this in the last video that we are going to rebuild this enclosure for the blueberries, but I wanted to wait until after they are done blooming so that we're not hurting the plants. And honestly, this year they're so laden with fruit that they're kind of flopping over. So I'm afraid if they don't have the support, then it could break some of their branches. So this is the garden critter. He helps keep an eye on things in the garden. And I guess we can talk about this quick. I've given up on the strawberry bed. The rabbits ate, another country I heard from, the rabbits ate so much of it, and we're just being so destructive. And these plants are about 5 years old, so they're kind of getting old anyway. I have decided to let it go wild for this summer, and then I'm going to replant it next spring with fresh plants and just start over. So it's just kind of a wild, ugly mess. There are some flowers kind of growing in the middle there, so that's good. That'll distract you from all the weeds. I might weed it just because it looks terrible, but I'll leave the, it looks like there's a couple borage that are coming in there, and that's a milkweed. We'll leave that for this summer. Another really cool thing to see is that the trumpet vine is starting to bloom. I do have some great video of the hummingbird hanging out around here. She really likes to come in and sit on a little dead stick in here and then eat from the pretty flowers, but they're gorgeous. I love this plant. I talk about this every year, that these lilies are my favorites, and I didn't plant them. I still am not totally sure where they came from. What I will say is that they grew with these pink ones, these plain pink ones, and then they turned this like peachy pink with an orangish center in them. That coloration is what these giant tree lilies are. These ones are like a scented trumpet lily. So they have a different flower shape than what these ones are, but I still think that it's really cool. I think they cross-pollinated with the pink ones and came up with this beautiful beautiful peach one. It did it here and it did it over in that other side, and I never planted those. These ones are a little different. I don't know. I know that I got this from like an unmarked bin. There was a bin that had you know, a couple planters that the garden center had lost the tags to. So it's this one, and then I think this one, which will probably open today, is a eyeliner lily. So it's white with like a perfect black cat eye around it with eyeliner. These beautiful yellow ones are just kind of finishing blooming, I think. These ones are definitely finishing blooming. They're gorgeous. They're usually the second ones to open. Those red ones from the last video were the first ones to open. And then come over here, and this one is just stunning. This one is one that we put in last year when we redid this whole area, along with its little friend over here, this stunning. The color of this one probably isn't going to show in the video as vibrant and beautiful as it is. It's such a cool color. I've got this plant down here. I was so excited for it to bloom this year, for it to come up, and then it ended up doing the big hole in the middle of the plant thing, and I don't know if that's normal. It looks like there's an animal hole right there. I don't know if, you know, something got in there and is really causing problems with it. I think that the flowers are still stunning, but I'm just not a big fan of the big hole in the middle, although it does look like some green is starting to grow from down there. And this one is a Veronica. I know that last video I talked about that I needed to get all of the herbs planted, and specifically, so this is all the basil that I'm growing this year. Well, it's some of it, and I decided to put it in pots and just place it around the garden because I didn't really have space over in the vegetable garden, which is totally fine. We've got this cinnamon basil, purple basil. The cinnamon basil is over by the flower pot there. The purple basil, lettuce leaf basil, and Genovese basil. We got the castor beans are starting to get pretty large. I'm struggling with a few of the annuals in these beds. I might go and, I know everything's on sale right now, so I might go and buy a few filler plants for it. But the castor bean over there also is getting big, so that's great to see. Just a few things over here that are getting big. This hosta is enormous, and I just love it. It's standing up so beautiful this summer and just doing so well because of all the rain. I know that the rain is causing a lot of problems in other parts of the state, but it's doing very good things for my backyard. You can see that the elephant ears, I do have elephant ears in here, so this should be a little pile of flowers at the base with big tall leaves coming out of it, and those are finally coming up. This was really kind of an interesting thing, that I thought this plant was dead. It had completely wilted down to being nothing, and I thought, well, I didn't know why. I actually pulled it out and I put it back in there. And it was just dead. And then I came back a few days later and it's fine. I still don't know what happened. But I love the snapdragons. They're so beautiful. I've kind of got them all along here. And the beautiful variegated cannas are finally really starting to grow well. in the interest of documenting things, we did have a little bit of a problem with our new raised bed. This part kind of sunk, and we struggled and struggled, and we finally ended up putting another 4x4 underneath of there to, you know, just support it a little bit more. So we did do that on both sides just to make sure that it was nice and stable. Up here, I've got all of my beans are starting to come in. I've got, this one was the volunteer bean that was in the old one when we tore it down. I saved the plant and I planted it in here. And yeah, so that one's gonna climb the trellis. I do have some cucumbers that hopefully will take off and start climbing the trellis. And I did put some sweet peas in here. We did have our first fire in our fire pit that we got this spring. And it was really fun. It started out with the fire pit being, you know, silver metal colored, and as it heated up, it kind of turned this cool purple. We're going to use that lid from the old one on there. Bill has some metal that he's going to extend those arms out for now. We just have those whatever, steel rods that were, I guess maybe they're not steel, but that we're holding the lid on with. But yeah, it was cool to finally see that. And the big change is back here. We did lose our minds. We took this entire garden out, and that's where the arch trellis used to be. And we rebuilt a different one back there. We were gonna try and reuse the same one and just move it back, but it was disintegrating. So, you know how garden projects are. You have to go with plan B. So we just got that in this weekend. We've got that up there. I planted some, Bill got this all nice and level, and then I planted some of the mint that was in that other garden in there, because I don't know that I'm gonna really try to grow anything, you know, fancy in here. I think I am just gonna plant some mint plants and things like that and let that grow. And then we're gonna let the hops, we're gonna plant some hops in on either side and let them go. But right now the hops are kind of like on the fence, and I don't know if cutting them back and transplanting them now is a good idea, or if I need to wait until spring. Kind of guessing I should wait until spring. So that's what I'm doing right now. Yeah, the forsythias back there. I don't think that's probably enough space for them, but they're gonna have to thrive or die, right? I mean, I don't know. I am a little concerned about, like, in the future when this gets so much foliage on it that it's going to block a lot of the sun from that corner, and they might not thrive, but that's okay. The hydrangea is just so beautiful. And that was, you know, that was one of the reasons that we decided to, you know, really dig that up. I also took out that little garden over there. Well, Bill took it out because it just never grew anything. There's the squirrel. It just never grew anything in it, and it was more hassle than it was worth. So I might plant some, like maybe some milkweed or something there. It's hard to say. So this is not done yet, but it's, you know, it gets a little bit closer and a little bit closer all the time. I've got my tub of watermelon. I know I do weird stuff, so I'm growing watermelon in that, and I'm gonna maybe let it climb up the thing. I do have some like melon bags that I can, if it's on the trellis, it can grow into. And then, you know, the two garden beds, honestly, the plants aren't growing that well in there. I'm not exactly sure what to do. I did fertilize the heck out of them yesterday, so I'm hoping that that works. So we're still going to like build a divider here so that it's kind of blocks off the area over there, and we're going to put, you know, this landscape edging is just set there for now. We're going to put that in. We're going to obviously plant some grass seed back here and get this lawn going back up again. The cucamelons are really kind of struggling. They really love the hot heat. I'm okay with less cucamelons and nice weather, so I'm certainly not complaining about it. But those things are meant to kind of also block all of the stuff back there. So yeah, so this is the area back here. I guess the funny other part of the garden is having an elderly dog just means that sometimes you have to do things. He just gets so upset if we leave him at all and he can't follow us, and so we have taken to putting him in his stroller and just rolling him around with us. As long as he can see us, he's pretty content. As you can see him sleep sitting in his stroller while I'm filming this video. Our big project yesterday was cleaning the patio. I'm sure the neighbors hated us. We had the pressure washer going for a couple of hours, but we got it nice and clean. So I'll show the patio area. This hops plant is just so happy and doing exactly what we wanted. In the evening, the sun comes from over here and helps shade the patio area. We also, since we had the pressure washer out and all of that, we'll take a big peek at the dog. We cleaned up the water feature and got that all clean and nice, and you can see the patio just looks really nice. It's kind of fun to think that for the 4th of July this year we get to have a nice clean patio. I mean, it could still use a little bit more. It was really grimy, but that's okay, we'll get it. Oh, here's the shrimp plant. I think on the last one. Oh, and it's dirty from us washing it, so the little black specks aren't supposed to be there. But, yeah, the little white things are the little shrimps coming out of the shrimp plant. So cool. And the mandevilla is finally starting to climb a little bit. It's been slow to start. Again, fertilizing the heck out of everything because, you know, it's struggling, but we got a tentacle here. There's one down there that's finally starting to come in. Same with the tomatoes. The tomatoes are doing really well this year. They're really happy. There's a whole bunch of little tomatoes down inside of it that we should start getting tomatoes from, and I do plan on counting them this year again, of the Berries Crazy Cherries, and then this one is the Mortgage Lifter. Now this one, I mean, it's a really healthy plant, right? It's taller than I am. I mean, it's in a pot, but it's taller than I am, but I still haven't gotten one fruit set on it. So I'm hoping that some of these blossoms will set some fruit. You can kind of see that in some cases, see how that's all yellow? Like I think that's gonna fall off. And I don't know why that's happening. So I probably need to fertilize better, maybe? I'm not really sure. But they're beautiful flowers, and I'm sure it will recover. I did want to kind of document this, that there's just some things that grow really well in this green stalk and some things that are struggling. I'm gonna screw this up. I think these are verbena, and I mean, a few of them are doing okay, and then there's other things that, like, look at how dead it is. Like, this is some I don't even know what moss roses, and you know, they're just dead. Then the verbena over here, like, just dead. So the dog can't see me, so he's over there yelling at me. So yeah, it's just kind of interesting. This lobelia is just so beautiful, so maybe that's what needs to be grown in there. So that's about it for the garden this round, for this update. I'll try to keep videos as the different beautiful lilies bloom, and do another update pretty soon. So thanks for watching, and happy gardening.